Oh, and welcome back. Welcome back to Feel Good Friday with Singular, right? I think that's appropriate
Mm-hmm.
because
It is.
today we're gonna, yeah, I mean we got 5 or 6 feel good examples from our I got to be honest with you. I think one of the coolest things we've done in Singular, about 2 years ago, we got involved in schools, and which expanded into the opportunity for schools to get access to a Singular account, full Singular account, and really run with it. And then we expanded it to nonprofits. And we've got Fran joining us, joining Catherine and I today to go over our Singular for Good program. And she's just done a tremendous job, really hustling out there and helping a number of different schools and organizations making some really cool content. And, Catherine mentioned to me before we started, when we were just doing our little setup here, that so many of these organizations and schools that have jumped into the platform have really done some amazing things that I'm impressed with. I build so many different compositions for different customers and assist in different ways of getting people off the ground, getting off the singular runway, as we like to say. And just amazing what people have done. So I'm really excited to have Fran join us and walk us through some of these examples. I think we've got some schools, we've got some houses of worship, if I'm not mistaken, and let's dive
All
right
sorts of
in.
different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one more comment on that. Like I want to add to the fact that I think the stuff that we've seen come in from schools and nonprofits it's pretty amazing. Because to learn a new platform, I think is always very daunting. And our platform is kind of like a video editing platform or Photoshop, and that takes a lot of years of experience. And a lot of the use cases we're going to show today, these people didn't even reach out to our support team. So I find it pretty amazing. But before we do that, we just want to cover one really cool thing that is new in the Singular world that Stephen did a video on. The link's in the description. Do you want to elaborate on that, Stephen? Because you're kind of the guru on this cool feature.
Yeah. So we in OBS is used by a number of our customers out there, and it's an amazing piece of software. It's free. You download it, and it drives so many of the streamers on YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook and what have you. So one of the features you can do is you can take a Singular control application, Studio, and you can configure it in such a way with a few modifications in our UI and drop it, or dock it, as we like to say, right into OBS. And that is that is something that's incredibly powerful for OBS users because getting nice overlays, professional looking overlays into OBS can be a little cumbersome. But with Singular, just dropping a studio rundown in there, and you can really manage those overlays to get a professional, polished looking stream so much better. And I will tell you a sneak preview. I was telling Catherine and Travis and Fran before we started the stream that there's more control apps to come. I always like to give a little tease. I've seen some sneak previews of some of the stuff that's coming. So we're getting there with some even more targeted control applications to do more, to make it even that much easier. But as Catherine said, it's a platform. So it's quite impressive, going back to the Singular for Good. It's quite impressive to see people dive into a platform as powerful and Singular and make their own compositions and make their own studio control apps and put all the pieces together in their streaming software, many times OBS or vMix or Wirecast or so many of the others, and put it together. So for us to see this is the ultimate feel good Friday for me when I see people who we've really engaged with to any degree in some cases, and then to sit back and see them use the tools and have success with it and make their presentations, their streams just that much better. It's just really great to see.
Yeah, definitely. Should we bring Fran on? Are we ready?
Yes, where's Fran?
There she is. Hey, Fran.
Hi. Hi.
We love having new people on our show. We absolutely love having new people on our show. And this is not just any person on our show. This is Fran, who's behind the scenes, really helping us for now, it's got to be 2 years plus. As I mentioned in the start of the stream, Fran started out, we were really targeting schools and giving schools the opportunity to get a Singular account, get all the great features of Singular. And then it sort of expanded into nonprofits, which was great, as in the advent of COVID corresponded at that timing. And now we've got, some stuff coming out of Singular that I think's amazing. And I think that's why I call this Feel Good Friday. And I think this is Feel Good Friday with this Singular for Good program. So Fran's here to join us and walk us through 5 or 6 really cool examples. So we can just dive in and show some of them.
Well, she's going to do a little intro, right, of the program.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen did a fantastic job of introducing the program. As Stephen said, it's an initiative that donates free pro accounts to schools and nonprofits. And really the aim was to make Singular accessible and impactful beyond just the traditional broadcast industry. So we created this program, and as Stephen said, we started off in schools. And we did that partly because the team at Singular had noticed a lack of diverse young talent coming into the whole broadcast industry. So we wanted to introduce young people to a potential career in the industry by exposing them to professional tools such as Singular at their schools. And also we noticed that schools had started using live streaming a lot for things such as sport and morning news shows and media clubs. So and obviously we know schools don't have big budgets, so we wanted to make sure that our amazing platform was accessible to them. And we've seen schools from all over the world. I mean, literally, there's schools in Miami, Malaysia. We've got them everywhere who've all signed up to the program. And then, as Stephen said, when COVID hit, we did also expand it out to nonprofits because these people were having to rapidly transition their operations online, and live streaming was a big part of that. So they could connect with their communities, they could continue their fundraising work, they could even host efficient internal meetings with members all at home across the world. Yeah, so it's been really exciting. We didn't ever dictate what they did with it. We just put it out there and wanted to help them make their streams as meaningful and impactful as possible. And it's fascinating to see the kind of things we've learned a lot about how people can use the platform and how much it means. I mean, in some cases, in some cases it's even essential with things like spiritual leaders using it for scripture and translations of that scripture between languages, for example. So I'm excited to perhaps show you some examples now. We could jump into one of my favorite ones is a school in Norway, and the students hosted and produced their own, it's amazing, 24-hour fundraising live stream. They were raising money for a school in India, and you can see they've used our overlays for things like the timer. Sorry, Catherine, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a Danish school, so none of us really understand what they're saying, but go ahead. It's very cool, the stuff that they've done.
You can get the picture and you can see it's the students themselves hosting it, and they split them off into groups. Some students created all the pre-recorded video content, some produced it, and I think just one student on their own was actually controlling the overlays, and they raised a lot of money for the school, and they also even used our overlays for a coronavirus disclaimer to say that all the students were in a bubble and it was all produced safely. The student and the teachers fed back that it was just amazing to be able to use it because they could never have afforded it themselves. And he just said that they got up and running with it so quickly. The students just found it really easy to use, and it made a big impact.
This one's like a really nice combination of a school and a nonprofit. I mean, they're doing all sorts of cool stuff with this. The students are learning the software, and then obviously they're implementing it. And the young kids, I'm young, I guess, but these guys are younger. It's just amazing how quickly they can pick this stuff up. And it's really cool to see. And they did raise a ton of money, which is awesome, in 24 hours. So.
It was an awesome effort.
This one's really nice. I mean, the production value is just the way they lit the whole the set.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just very engaging, and you really feel like you're part of this whole experience. It's really neat. They just did a great job. So that's like you said, no hand holding from us. They just got in there and started manipulating the compositions and got it into a control app, and away they went. So there's a very cool one to see.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen and I are on the support side of things. We didn't see anything come in from them. So super cool. Yeah, and I like the look of it too, the custom look that they did.
Yeah. It's
definitely unique.
It's really cool.
All right. What's the next one that we have?
So to continue the goodness, we have Hillsong Church in Australia. And they produced during lockdown, and they continue to produce a series of live shows, which are actually services really aimed at kids. So they have games, and they have prayer, and they have input from congregation members, and it's all a way of reaching they've got a huge congregation actually, all the kids at home. So very fun. It's incredibly lively. These people have a lot of energy.
Yeah, they do.
This guy's got a lot of energy. I love this, and I love the playful font that they bring in. They're just revealing them one after the other with a little subcomp animation, sliding the stuff on. This is great. Really, really cool. And you said these guys are down in Australia, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They are.
I think so, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're more of like the modern. I don't want to say atypical, but they've kind of evolved like what religious and spiritual experiences are. I mean, they've got this game show, which is just really unique to see. But then we've also got other religious institutions that do more traditional live streams where they switch to live stream to just show their weekly worship to their congregation. And that's more just like traditionally in a church or a synagogue or what have you. And in those instances, like Fran had said earlier, a lot of them, especially synagogues, will display like Hebrew text or original text, and then translations, modern translations to people. So I found that to be really intriguing because, if you've ever been to a service before, you'll have your religious text with you down here most of the time. I mean, more modern ones might have like a projection screen, but it takes you away from, whoever and whatever you're supposed to be really engaging with in front of you. And by putting, the overlays on top of the live stream with these translations, it seems like it would help keep the audience engaged. So there's a lot of innovation happening in the religious realm, which was very surprising to us.
Yeah, it really is. And actually, speaking of innovation that's being used to solve kind of age-old human issues, our next example is from WildAid, which is an environmental organization, and they campaign to end still a multi-billion-dollar industry in illegal wildlife trade. Things like rhino, shark fin soup, which apparently people are still eating, and elephant ivory. So they're super focused on ending that trade, and as you can see, that they have a lot of celebrity evangelists such as Bo Derek there, and they use Singular both their fundraising, but also their general advocacy and education about the problem. So I think they've created a really, really slick, professional look here. And I think they're super excited. The person who runs all their productions said he was just thrilled that once they started using Singular, they could just have one staff member handling all the overlays with minimal training and knowledge. So it's been a real help to them.
Yeah, I think they have like a 3-person crew, which is, I think it's pretty small when we're talking about video management and all the rest, sound. So
it is incredible.
Stephen, you were going to say something?
Yes.
Just listening to that, they I had watched that one earlier. They do a really good job with a small team. Great audio quality. It's lit well. It's consistent. They've got everyone's framed out nice, and the graphics are just add that level of professional presentation. It looks great. That one really was very nice to see the whole piece come together. It's really, really cool. Another great example. And for a great cause, right? Another great cause on a feel-good cause on a feel-good Friday.
Absolutely. And it really brings home the power of live streaming when nonprofits can actually go out into the fields. They often do. They go out into the field to talk to the people who are on the ground trying to catch the poachers. And then when you can actually be there live and connect, I think it's more powerful than anything. And hear from the horse's mouth about the issues they're having and see the animals. It's I think it's pretty amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we all read articles about, the different areas in which our planet is suffering or at risk right now. But to actually see people on the ground who are actively trying to get rid of poaching and these sorts of things, it's really powerful. And then, like Stephen said, the overlays just add that extra bonus. I mean, the focus really oftentimes is the video, but the overlays definitely help.
It's true. Yeah, we're forming a very small but very specific and significant part. It's kind of humbling to be part of something so big with our platform.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, should we go to the next one? This
let's do it.
Is again an immensely powerful use of live streaming. This is from the National Memorial Centre and Museum in the UK. And when it was closed due to the coronavirus lockdown, like many museums and art galleries, etc., cultural institutions around the world, they turned to live streaming to continue work. The work they do it's phenomenal. They're really trying to engage as many people across the globe in the conversation about discrimination and propaganda and the horrific consequences of prejudice and hate. And they produced, it's an amazing feat, it's 27-hour-long webcasts, and they were using Singular, and they were sharing Holocaust survivors' stories, and I think immensely powerful.
Yeah, it's great that they're engaging kids in this too.
That's what put a smile on my face to see the kids out there, and they do such a great job, and it just makes it, just so inclusive to all age groups. Another really nice presentation. Um, that, as you said, we're a piece to the puzzle. They're putting the three pieces together: the audio and the video and the graphics. And it's great that we can be a part of this. I see a little update animation here when they roll in. Just those subtle little things
Yeah.
really make it look pro. That's just great. It's really nicely done. Nice transparency, and just cutting back to this full screen. I mean, that's not. They've got 5 video streams going on right here, and getting that all balanced with audio. There's a lot going on, behind the scenes to put a stream like this together. When you're talking a 5 box, right? But it's neat. I like the way when they cut back and forth. Like I said, they cut back. The graphic is there. It's got transparency, so it's non-intrusive. Very nicely done. Really, really nice. That's again a nice
Those are
little
nice
update.
animations too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just very, really, just rounding out the whole piece. It looks great. Another really great example for a great cause.
Yeah, and for anyone watching who hasn't even seen Singular before, know about Singular, or even understand, traditional broadcast graphics, you might be asking, like, why can't people just use images on their videos? And they can, and plenty of people do. But the benefit of Singular is our overlays are live. And so what that means is you can, on a press of a button, animate in a graphic and animate it back out. You get to decide what it looks like as it's coming on screen, how it behaves on screen. Like if you want to flare or any sort of behavior as it's there. And then Stephen mentioned earlier how it might update. So if they're changing information on screen, it might, translate down, or something, like the text might translate down and new text might translate in. So it's subtle things like that really elevate a stream and a broadcast. And it's just a little bit of background for you guys as to the difference between like a static PNG and live overlays.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Another neat one.
Should we go on?
These guys also did. Yeah.
Sorry.
Definitely. I was just gonna say these guys did some really cool update animations too, which we'll see in a second. The Colombian school, right? This next one.
I think we have. It's a university from Bogota, Colombia, and
Wow, that's cool.
They took the approach of holding their graduation ceremony in person but socially distanced with masks. And obviously graduation ceremonies, it's such a meaningful moment in young people's, the students' lives, the teachers' lives, the parents' lives. But suddenly last year, it just couldn't happen. So this university hosted it at the school, but parents weren't allowed, and family. So they wanted to live stream it. And I think they've done an amazing job, because obviously the students are all kind of masked up and it almost looks a bit impersonal. But on the screen, they've used our overlays to put a photograph of the students, to talk about their achievements at the school. And it's amazing things. You see,
There it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you'll see this lower third update in a second between students, and it's got like some sort of like flipping animation, if I remember correctly. And then they've got the live bug in the top corner.
Oh yeah, you're right. They've got, to Catherine's point, like if you try to do this with static images and build each and every one of it, it's quite a daunting task, very laborious to build out each of these as an individual static image and then line them up in your streaming software. And with Singular, when you can bang out a template in Composer, I think this clearly they did this from Composer up. They didn't use one of our pre-done examples from the marketplace. So they had to go into Composer, build this, configure the update animations, build a list, and away they go. Because by doing that, they can change names. You make a typo in someone's name. If you're doing this in a pre-rendered situation, you got to go back and re-render it and re-output it. Whether you're rendering it or you're doing it in Photoshop or Illustrator or some other, great programs, but forget about it. You make one edit, one mistake. If you're not using a template-based system like Singular with Composer and Studio, it's very time consuming. So, and what a nice design, right? They've got their logo in there, and they've got the logo in the upper right. Cool, nice, appropriate font. Really nicely done. Really neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
actually have a really advanced media production course at this university. I think they might have got the students to go on that specific course to design it all and run it.
Yeah. Just a
That's
great
even
example.
better. Like when students are doing it, I just find it super cool. And I don't know about these guys, but I know the next example, they did their stuff completely remotely, and they had one student, I think, operate the overlays themselves, which is pretty cool. We'd like to see that.
They did from their bedrooms. Yeah, the whole thing was hosted and produced and run by the students from home. This school took the decision not to attempt anything in person. And I think they've done a wonderful job. It's a fantastic stream, and it's given these young people hands-on experience of production and just the whole notion of communicating this moment and what school means to them. And some of them, there's a song that comes up soon. They've written a song especially for graduation.
That's great.
And I think it's charming. It's really sweet. And again, they fed back that actually more people ultimately watched the graduation because they decided to live stream it. So it went around the world to families. So very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I know that they'd also been putting on this, I think it's their weekly show or something before their graduation. So this was just their like graduation special. But I think they've got like a handful of segments like news, and we saw the teachers in there at one point. They've got their baseline ticker at the bottom, so that information's changing. It's just cool to see this type of content because I hadn't really seen this. I mean, I know when you're in high school they've got like an AV club and maybe a local station for like a high school broadcast, but I don't know. It feels rare that you have graphics along with it. So it's really cool to see this.
Another great one.
Yeah, definitely. These guys had signed up about actually before the pandemic hit, and as you say, they have their own news and variety show, and we've seen a lot of that. It's the cutest thing seeing elementary school kids. There's a couple of schools, they've got 4th and 5th graders producing the daily morning news show, and they talk about things like important things like what's for lunch, very important, and whose birthday it is, that kind of thing. They're very, very sweet. And apparently the 5th graders, we've got a school in Canada actually, that the 5th graders teach the new 4th graders how to produce it all. And they do these daily shows. It's adorable.
It's great.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know they even do some like green screen stuff too. I just remember seeing a clip from them, and they've got like some virtual set in the background. So whoever's like orchestrating that at that school is pretty cool to be introducing those things so early.
Absolutely. We've got another school using it for a science project. It's a live stream of some chicks hatching. That was,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you can tune in, and they use our overlays with a timer and some information about the chicks and things.
Oh, nice.
It was really cute. Yeah.
That's cool.
Feel good stuff.
Feel good stuff on Feel Good Friday. I like it. So we're going to keep pushing forward with the Singular for Good program. We're excited to see more examples, and I have no doubt more will come in. And when we do a stream like this, the first time we've done a stream like this dedicated to this effort, and I think it's just only going to grow. I look at the accounts coming in, and we have so many schools and non-for-profits that can take advantage of Singular and make their productions look better. So I'm excited to see more. This won't be the last time we feature these, because it just continues to impress me that they had very little training, if any. They watch our videos, and they go to our support portal, and they might ask a few questions here and there, and boom, they're gone. So doing their thing. So it's really cool, really, really great. So thank you, Fran, for putting these together and giving us a taste of what our good Singular for Good is doing out there for good. I like that. It's really cool.
Well, it's
nice,
obviously
I have
always
to be,
good.
it's all good, but it's a nice break for me because I deal with so many enterprise customers, and my project is very important, and obviously it is. But for me to take a step out and really sit back and watch the people that are doing it in a different sort of light is really neat for me. It's a nice thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Stephen deals a lot with. I was mentioning live before. He deals with a lot of customers that have live data. So if you ever are interested in that, Singular has that capability of funneling live data into your overlays, which you obviously can't do with a PNG because then you'll have thousands of images that you need to put on screen in rapid succession. So I'm sure it is nice to step away from that amount of data once in a while and see this stuff.
It's good to see. Well, should we move on to some questions if we have some out there? I don't know. Travis, I know, is behind the scenes pulling the levers, making sure we have.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say really. Can I say really fast? Obviously, the link down is below to sign up for good, but there's also a link in the description. You just have to be a nonprofit or an educator. I mean, in the future, we might open it up to more categories. But at the moment, I can't think of anything else that is for good. But I'm sure we will. So, yeah, let's open it up for questions now.
Yeah, that was our main question was about the application process.
Okay. Well,
so you've answered.
Fran, do you want to elaborate on that a little? Or it's pretty straightforward, the process.
It's really straightforward. You just go to the For Good section on our website and you fill in a very simple application form. We'll then send you a memo of understanding to agree to. And once you've done that, we'll set you up with your free pro account. So it's a very straightforward process.
That's good. And just keep.
And we're not picky either.
Yeah,
we're not picky with the applications. We like when people sign up. It's great.
We're reasonable. We're reasonable here at Singular.
We are. Anything. The more eclectic, the better. We love working with people around the world. Just so please tell anyone you know in the nonprofit world or the education space. We'd love to have you.
I don't have anything else today. I really enjoyed this one. It was a very relaxing stream where I didn't have to get technical and I could really sit back and just sort of enjoy it. It's rare for me to sit back and really enjoy the content and just see what people do. I had glanced briefly at some of the examples, but just to hear you guys describe the process and to see the content that's being produced. And there's so much more. We're just scratching the surface. There's so much more out there that people are doing with it within the Singular for Good program. So thank you very much, guys, for putting this one together. This was a neat stream for myself personally. Travis, thank you again for behind the scenes, getting clean streams for us. And Catherine, as usual, will set the table for our next stream. I'm sure it will be packed with some new goodies because I know behind the scenes from the R&D guys, there's some really cool stuff coming out of the pipe. So I'm extremely excited to get these new feature sets out there. So I think do we want to tease the next stream before we sign off? Because I think we mentioned something pretty cool that might be neat for viewers to know about.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with marketing or anything. But
that's okay. That's what we do.
Yeah. We're updating Studio, so we've got a brand new user experience interface. It's super cool, very responsive. So we're hoping to release that end of this month, maybe early next month. We haven't solidified that, but we'd like to cover it in the next live stream and just sort of do a live demo for everyone. So
I like when we do this, Catherine, because it lights the fire under our teams. You know what?
That's true.
We meet some dates around here and get this thing out. Because I will tell you, the new studio, a lot of work was put into it. It was a tremendous from the ground up rebuild, and it is really responsive, really fast. Some great new features. So it's coming, and I'm excited to demo that in our next live stream. So look forward to doing that. And Yeah, thanks again for putting this together. This was great.
Thanks for
All right.
having me on.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Fran.
tuning in.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Catherine.